You're welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us. Now, yesterday in Berlin, victims of the worst terrorist attack on German soil relived the moment which killed 12 people and injured about 56 more. Last week, we discussed the attack ahead of the commemoration and learnt a bit of what Ghana, which has been spared any terrorist attack so far, can learn. Today, Hans Brandt joins us with what exactly German Chancellor Angela Merkel has been telling victims who are reliving the experience. Hans is political correspondent with our partner DW. He's been interacting with my colleague Benis Abubeidu.
What has German Chancellor Angela Merkel been saying, especially after the government has been criticized for not doing enough for the victims?
Yes, I think it was quite surprising yesterday that Angela Merkel, during this commemoration here in Berlin, actually went to the microphone eventually and gave a short statement. And what she said is, in a sense, that she admitted some culpability. She did say that some things had gone wrong and that the government would try to do things better in the future. The day before, she had had a meeting with about 80 people who were either related to people that were killed during that incident or who themselves were injured during that attack. And this meeting went on for 3 hours and apparently was very intense and very open, very direct. And Angela Merkel responded by saying that she acknowledged that things could be done better, that the government would try to improve in the way it deals with victims of similar attacks if they should happen again in the future. And she also said that she would be meeting representatives of these victims again in the coming year in a few months' time.
So were the family of these victims, as well as those who survived the attack, were they happy about these remarks? How did they react to Angela Merkel's statements?
There was no direct reaction from any of them. After the meeting with Angela Merkel the day before, people had said that, to some extent they were satisfied with the way the talks went, the discussions went. But I think the victims and the survivors, or the relatives and the survivors, will want to wait and see now what concrete results this actually has for them, whether actually things are going to improve in terms of the support they get from government structures and the kind of help they get from all sorts of quarters.
All right, so apart from the statement or the address by Angela Merkel, what exactly went on yesterday in commemoration of that deadly attack?
Well, central to the commemoration was the unveiling of a memorial on the square here in Berlin where this attack happened a year ago. The memorial consists of a crack in the flagstones and some steps leading up to a church that is there. So there's a large crack about 15 or 18 meters long, symbolizing a kind of a rift that went through society, a crack that opened in society as a result of this attack. On the steps to the church, the names of the victims are engraved. There were 12 fatalities, 12 people who died in that attack. And the crack itself has been filled with a metal substance that shimmers golden. It's like gold. Now, this is similar to a tradition in Japan. As you maybe know, in Japan, people are very fond of vessels made of porcelain or plates made of other kinds of ceramics. And when they break, there's a tradition of repairing these breaks with a precious kind of liquid so that the cracks are repaired, but they don't disappear. And the philosophy is that such cracks add to the value of a piece because they show that it has been through difficult times and survived those difficult times. And that's the symbolism here for this memorial. There is a crack that has gone through society. It is being repaired in some sense, but it is not invisible, and it will remain as a reminder that this incident happened, but that it has been overcome.
Right. Finally, Hans, your perspective on the lessons of this particular attack. We know Germany, you've had a series of attacks and some were successful, others were foiled. But what lessons can we learn, I mean, for those of us who've not been attacked before and for those countries which have?
Well, I think for people, normal people like you and I, the lesson simply is that one cannot allow oneself to be intimidated by such things, that life has to go on, daily life continues. And in fact, here in Berlin, that Christmas market that was attacked has reopened this year and is busy again this year, although of course there have been additional security measures taken. For instance, concrete blocks have been put up around the market so that a truck or a car cannot drive into it again, and there's also a larger police presence. On the part of the government, apart from the questions of how to help victims of such attacks, there obviously have been a lot of questions asked about the way the police operated before the attack and after the attack. There was a lack of coordination between various agencies involved in Germany in the security field. The left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing. The identity of the attacker was known, but it wasn't shared between the various agencies. So there again, there's a lot of lessons to be learned, a lot of improvements to be made, and the government says that they have started, in fact, to make those changes.
Benny Sabubedu there interacting with Hans Brandt, political correspondent with our partners Deutsche Welle in Germany.